Hello there, YouTubes. This is Renetto, and it's been too long since I've made a video. My personal life has definitely been in Julia and I have broken up, kind of broken up, and that has been kind of happening on, off. I'm sorry. It has honestly just become too much. I'm overreacting. I'm getting kind of jealous and mean and suspicious and things, and then because we're trying to do this crazy polyamory thing, and not trying, we are doing it. And she's way more comfortable with all of this than I am, and I just keep losing it, to be honest. I just keep losing it. She keeps kind of loving me in the way she promised she would, and I keep trying to love her in the ways that I promised her I would. I can't. I just keep hurting her with words and deeds. I wouldn't say that she's hurting me, but I would definitely say that I am hurting myself by hurting her, you know. We get into these big, I don't even want to call them arguments or fights. It's just like these big discussions that feel heavy and like, what's going on? And then we circle back around, you know, the next day, and it's like, were you mad about this? And then she'll say, no, I'm mad about that. And I'm gonna go, huh? And then I'll say, well, I'm sure you're upset about this too. And she'll go, I wasn't upset about that at all. How come you don't believe me? And I'm like, like it's just become too turbulent for either one of us. So we are definitely doing a hard break and a kind of a no contact hard break, which has so the last week has just been, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do, and I've just been limping through it, and it's been hard. It has really highlighted something in my life that I have to resolve. I have to get better at. Julia's not the first woman to tell me this is the way I act in a relationship, even though I'm doing my best. So I'm not blaming her. I know that this is me. I'm sure I'm not trying to say like she's a saint and she's perfect and everything. I mean, she's really, really sweet. So my point is, I'm not trying to like be this, it's all me, and it's us. She makes me crazy. She makes me crazier than any woman has ever made me. Whatever that means. Probably means that, So last night was when we just decided to, and so that's the first thing. The second thing I wanted to share with you is about probably why all of these issues are coming up with me and what I'm getting ready to try to do about it. I am scared, or I'm afraid. I'm afraid of disappointing myself. I'm afraid of not being able to do what I'm getting ready to tell you. So I just have to get this out there to everybody that cares about me. I am really struggling with addiction issues. And of course, I've been around it my whole life, and I've seen other people, try to quit doing things or whatever, and I've sat on the sidelines and told them how to do it and wondered why they couldn't and all that. I'm finding myself in the same situation. The free time that I have and the perpetual dating and, partying and everything that goes with that lifestyle of just excess in a pleasure way, all the sex, all the drinking, all the, just no holds barred, I and that's accelerated in the last 6 months for obvious reasons. And so I'm finding these highs and then these lows, and basically I am drinking pretty regularly, like Miller Lite, and I am smoking like nonstop these Black and Milds. And I am a total complete pothead. I smoke weed 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I am not smoking right now, and I'm not always, when I say 24/7, I meant like I might go a few hours and not smoke, but it's like it's always here, it's always around. Whenever I want it, I just do it. And whenever I want a beer, I sip on it, sit here on my laptop, and when then I start smoking a little weed, I start getting a little dry mouth, so I start sipping on a little beer. Like right now, I have this, well, it's empty, it's full of water, but even like I'm just drinking one after another, even water. Like yesterday, I didn't drink or anything, but I was, well, for the first half of the day, I didn't. But I was smoking weed, and I'm like so dry mouth, but I was like trying not to drink any beer yesterday. And next thing I know, I'm just pounding these, just water, just drinking so much water, and I'm like, okay, it's maybe I'm just drinking so much beer because I'm smoking weed, and it's like I always tell myself this, I always try to change it up, and then it's always going to do something about it tomorrow. Or like there's this big festival that I was going to go to with Julia. I was invited to go on this overnight experience this weekend. I get invited to go sailing. I get invited to go listen to live music. I have this life, and I can't stay away from that party vibe. And it never, ever feels in the moment like I'm going too far. I'm not stumbling around. I'm not running into things. No one even ever really realizes it unless I'm just a little extra giddy or a little extra talkative or a little extra something. But rarely does anyone ever say, "Man, you're really fucked up," and "Why are you getting so fucked up?" It's like I'm that person who can kind of go at the level that I do, at this kind of level that I maintain when I'm in that smoking and drinking. It's all the time. So basically, I'm always smoking and drinking and staying kind of level. And nobody ever says anything. None of my friends ever ride me about it because nobody sees any consequences. Nobody sees, do I have a beer belly? I mean, how the hell is my stomach so fucking flat? I don't even work out. I don't know the answer to that. So that's why I keep saying, well, maybe it's not that big of a problem. And then everybody I know smokes a little weed. Well, that's fine for them because it was okay for me for a while. But nobody that I know smokes as much weed as I do and drinks as much and all this stuff because I'm always doing it. And look, that can work for other people. I've seen it work. I see people be super productive, more productive when they're drinking, smoking. I'm the opposite. I was a straight edge, sober, like hardcore sober kid because of my religious past and my 20s and 30s. It just all felt like I don't want to go anywhere near this stuff, and I was seeing people around me falling apart every which way, and I was always so grateful that I didn't get caught up in that. My ex-wife smoked, and I hated every cigarette she ever smoked until I started smoking with her in my 40s. And then I started feeling like really cool when I was smoking weed, and making that look easy and fun, and because it was sporadic, and then the divorce, and then all the free time in the world, and then an escalation of everything. And I have told myself 1,000 times in the last few years, when, you know, I started getting like, all right, this is fun, but I got to get back to work. This is fun, but I've got to have some purpose. This is fun, but like, you just can't live like in this constant state of, you know, physical pleasure and desire for pleasure, sexual, you know, shopping, drugs, gambling, whatever, you know, whatever it is that brings you like this intense joy and pleasure. It doesn't really bring you pleasure when you're doing it 24/7. It's too much, and you get burnt out, and you're just kind of stuck at this high, and everything in the whole world just feels empty and dull. So over the last year or so, I've stepped up trying super hard to do this, and I keep telling myself, I'm going to start tomorrow, then I'll go like 2 days. I think the longest that I've gone that I can remember in the last 5 years is maybe 7 days without smoking and drinking and stuff, because I was like, oh, I gotta, and I did the 7 days, no problem. I just got focused, and I was like, of course I can do this. And I actually went on a trip to just kind of get away from all my surroundings, and I went hiking and backpacking, and I was all by myself. It was like this solo sabbatical, and my head cleared up. I felt amazing. I had all this energy. I started like working on prototypes for things, and like, it was like, oh wow, this is great. And then when I came back from that trip, I said, and this was only like a year ago, it might have been 2 years ago. I am losing track. I am starting to lose track a little bit. But I think it was about a year ago. It was a year ago. I am remembering now. And I got back from that trip, and I came back, and I literally, like, if you looked at my journal when I was on the trip, I don't know if this is the actual journal or not. Let me just take a quick glance and see if there's anything in here. Because this goes back to January 7th, 2021. So I think this was the one I started after I got back. Yeah, you know, that's what I'm gonna do. I don't have it here, and I do have some journals, a journal in particular that you could read in there date after date after date after date after day after day after month after year since I started smoking and drinking and everything. So I've got a few journals that I, you know, start journaling every once in a while, and I'll do that, and then I'll quit, you know. But I've been craving this and wanting it so bad, and I get through that week, and then I'm like, well, that wasn't that bad. Like, and I'm like, see, Paul, look. Whoa, Paul. Moderation is where it's at. You're trying to go all hardcore. You're trying to like prove something. You're either going to be all the way up or all the way down. You're either going to be fucked up high all the time, or you're going to be hardcore sober. I always have to do something to an extreme, and I get about 7 days last year with, like, you know, tea break and an alcohol break and a cigarette. At the time I was smoking cigarettes. Thank God I don't smoke those anymore. But the Black and Milds was like my way to get rid of the cigarettes, you know. And now I just chain smoke those. Anyway, so I get 7 days, and I'm like, this wasn't so bad. And I'm like, you know what, this weekend I'm just gonna have one drink. This weekend I'm just gonna smoke one bowl before I go to bed. This weekend, and then before you know it, I'm out with someone, we're doing shots, we're drinking, I'm smoking everything in sight, because it's the weekend, but I won't do it during the week. And then Monday rolled around, I'm like, well, there's nothing going on today, and like, why torture myself? Wednesday I'm going out on this crazy thing, Friday I'm going out on something, Sunday I'm like, what's the point? Like, okay, I just won't buy that much weed. Instead of buying this amount, I'll buy that amount. Instead of like having a huge case of beer, I'll just go buy a little 4-pack, and when it's done, it's done. And that lasted for a couple weeks, you know, because I was doing moderation, which is where everybody wants to be. Nobody wants to be that hardcore and like AA meetings and you know, like be the guy like walking around with a Sprite at a bar, you know, for 6 hours, you know, just talking to everybody that's drunk out of their minds. And speaking of bars, obviously none of it worked. I'm going to tell you a quick story about Sunday night. One of the wildest experiences I've ever had at a bar. But before I tell the story, so the bottom line to all of this is today, whatever the date is, I am starting a 30-day challenge for myself. I'm doing it out here and putting it all out so that more people can call me a loser and more accountability. I just can't keep this secret anymore. I can't hold this inside. I have not been able to do this on my own. But it's so much bigger than that, because it's really not about like this super excessive craziness. It's I am not practicing any self-discipline. I am not making lists. I am not being productive. Why couldn't I just say I'm going to do this every other month and kind of prove to myself I can go hard and I can go easy. I can go hard, I can go easy. I can have fun. It's like I have to prove to myself that I can do this. It's like I have to. If I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to go absolutely mad. If someone's got to, you guys, everyone, not you guys, my friends and my family, somebody close to me is going to have some intervention and help me just get like at least a 30-day, just a block of time. And then I'm going to do that right here in front of you guys. I'm going to make a video every single day for 30 days, even if it's a 30-second video where I just say, I can and I will. Whew. Focus on my desire to live the life I've imagined, and I'm not doing that right now. I can and I will stay close to this desire by reminding myself of it every day and being accountable to others and all of that. I know for a fact that no one can stop me but me. And I know no thing can stop me until tomorrow, because I'm doing it now. Maybe tomorrow I can't do it, but I only have to believe it's possible, though, just for today. So I don't know if I will have anything to say. I might ramble on for 3 hours and make 3 videos a day, but I know one thing I'm going to do is make a single solitary video every day for the next 30 days. If I don't, I failed. I just have failed right here in front of everybody, which, I guess if I succeed, then, I'll make it look easy, because I'm telling you, I haven't been able to do it. If I fail, it'll be like, yeah, at least you tried. So I hate the thought of it, but I know that once I put this out here, and what am I going to do? How do I go back from this? So there's no excuse. There will be no excuses to be made other than I couldn't do it. Hopefully I'll just pick myself up and try again. 30 days, a video of a day, which is essentially my way of going to a meeting and just being accountable and just getting out there and talking about it. And if anybody wants to leave comments and things, obviously I'll be reading them. I'm not looking for any pity. I don't need rescued. I'm just saying, if I can't do this on my own, eventually something drastic will happen, because I am so fucking miserable. I am definitely not living the life that I've imagined. I'm not being a good example to my children, which is probably the thing I think about the most. Like, they've seen so much damage with addiction and things, and I've always harped on sobriety, and here I am just floating around here in Florida all by myself, from the kids and everything, especially since Noah's gone. Me and Noah smoked so much weed together, and I couldn't stop because he didn't want to stop, and when I'd want to stop, he didn't want to stop. When he wanted to stop, I wouldn't. We were terrible for each other as far as the smoking pot goes. thankfully, Noah never really started drinking a lot, or he never smoked, tobacco or anything. So he just liked to smoke that weed, and then I'd be like, well, I'd rather him smoke weed than, be over there drinking a bottle of whiskey every day or something crazy he could be doing, because he's, Anyway, Noah's doing great in Ohio, by the way. He is doing great. The family's doing great. And I need to do great, and I need to be an example to my children, and I'm not being a good example to them. So this is my first attempt at publicly that I can ever remember of doing a 30-day sobriety challenge, and being public about it. And I've made commitments to do the morning manifest for 100 days and stuff like that before, but this is really just, that will be filler material. I mean, I'll do the morning manifest every day for the next 30 days in the videos, but it's mostly just, if worst case scenario, how can I not at least do that? And then if you see that video, then I've made it one more day. When you don't see a video, or maybe you'll see a video where I say, all right, boom, 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 I'll smoke a bowl with you, we'll smoke some Black and Milds, and we'll laugh about it, and then how are you going to judge me, but you definitely won't be proud of me, and I will not be proud of myself. So that's what we're going to do. The story I wanted to tell you about Sunday night, and then I'm going to cut this video off. It's enough. It's one subject. It's a lot. I don't want this to go on too long. But I do want to tell you, I have received more packages. As a matter of fact, I have this sitting right here in front of me. I will show you one thing I received, a really sweet gift, a thoughtful gift. I had a guy named Kenneth C. Dennis send me a book that he wrote. Unfortunately, I wasn't here when it was delivered, and it got some water on it from being, it wasn't in plastic. It was just like this book in paper, and it got wet sitting outside when it rained, and I literally had to dry this book out, and I felt bad about it, but maybe it just makes it a little more personal, a little more unique. But he wrote a book, a screenplay, a Christmas screenplay. And it says, hello, Paul. I graduated Full Sail University in 2020, and I just started my writing career. Writing books is something that I'm relatively new at. So, I don't know what else to say, but thank you. Angel in My Attic, Christmas screenplay written by Kenneth C. Dennis. Unfortunately, I did not get a signature or anything with it, like maybe he just ordered it directly from Amazon or something and had it sent to me. But maybe someday, I'll see him somewhere at something, and I can get it signed. But anyway, thank you, Dennis. I really appreciate that. It says, Jasmine is dying of cancer, and her grandmother comes back from the dead to get her parents to spend time with their daughter. Can her parents find themselves to save their daughter in time for Christmas? Will Jasmine die from cancer? Oops, there you go. All right, thank you, Dennis. Kenneth Dennis, thank you. I've got my co-host Trevor here. And I'm going to make a video about Greg Solomon, and I might do that tomorrow. I've had this video queued up on this, when I say queued up, I have a few things prepared, looking through his YouTube homepage. And then I wanted to make some comments about a couple of videos that he's made, and why it's relevant to how I located him. Yeah, I'm gonna just do all this maybe tomorrow. I don't want to mix all this together, but I have an idea how we could collectively, potentially, lure, bait Mr. Solomon back onto YouTube without contacting him personally or directly. And you guys are going to be involved. I mean, a little bit, you know, like you're going to help me think it through and make some choices, and I'll report back to you, you know, how it goes. But I'm excited to make that video for you. And it's been literally sitting here queued up since last Friday. Like, next video I'm making is this Greg Solomon. It's going to be titled "Bringing Greg Solomon Back from the Dead," and I'm excited to make that video for you. All right, story time, and then I'll let you go. Sunday night, Julia and I, Cupcake and I, were definitely wrestling with all of this back and forth, and we decided to go out on Sunday night and just see if we could, like, you know, stop the madness, stop the drama, and just like focus on each other, love each other, and just like knock this shit off, you know, all this arguing, fighting, and hurting, and pain, and miscommunication, and, you know, and so we went to a bar, a pool hall actually, and we had never been there before, within minutes of sitting down at the bar, and it was about half full, you know, there were lots of people at the bar and people at the pool tables, and just kind of scattered around a fairly large place, but it was pretty active, and we happened to sit right in the middle, and I sat right next to a guy. And the second we sat down, Julia is on my left, I'm here, and this guy's to my right, and he's about my age, and he looks over at me and he says something about he had ordered some shots, and he says, yeah, these whiskey, you know, peanut butter whiskey shots or whatever. He had like 4 or 5 of them setting out for him and his friends, and he's like, these things are great, man, I love these things, and have you ever had one? I'm like, no, and Julia's like, no, and we were like, sounds like it'd be good, and then I think Julia said, well, can we just get a little taste of yours? And he said, yeah, you can give it a lick. And he goes, now don't drink too much of my shot, but you can give it a lick. And he hands it to her, and she just like touches it to her lips, you know, and so she's not drinking, you know, she's getting the taste, but not like drinking his shot. They're not that big anyway. He's looking at her real careful, like, you know. Then he takes it back, and then I said, can I get a lick off that? And he says, yeah. And I pick up the shot glass, and you guys already know what I'm getting ready to do. I just bury my tongue into the bottom of the shot glasses. I totally tongue that glass. He was shocked. Julia was shocked. I thought it was hilarious. And I could kind of read him. You know, obviously I would have just bought him another shot. You know, there wasn't anything to really get mad about. It was just me being silly if he did get mad. But I could kind of read the situation that he's a player. You know, he's a gamer. He wants to talk. He wants to start chit-chatting. He might end up buying everybody. You know, like he's just one of those guys. And I figured, you know, I'd have some fun with him. So I tongued the glass. And that's the beginning of everything. That's where things get weird. So he laughs a little bit about it, and he goes, well, I'm an attorney. And I'm like, okay. He said, the reason I can't be mad at you is I did say give it a lick. So and technically I gave you permission to lick my shot. Not what I intended, and it was just a phrase, but I said the words, and I'm an attorney, and I know better than to get mad about it, and, well, you gave it a lick, so we're all square. And I said, okay. He turns back around, they do their shots, him and his buddies, Julie and I, are cracking up. We are laughing our asses off. Guy turns back around, he says, are you guys swingers by any chance? And I said, well, why in the world? I said, no, we're not swingers. We're not swingers. What are you talking about? And he goes, oh, okay, sorry. And I said, well, why do you? And then he turns around and I look at Julia and I was like, if he only knew, if he only knew how wild we were. I'm like, but I don't want to tell him because I don't want to get wild with him. And like, I don't want to have a big scene as soon as I say that so at some point he starts talking to us again and I said, hey, I'm curious, why did you think we were swingers? And he's like, well, because you put your tongue in my drink. Like, you just seem like wild. Like, I don't know, you guys are both have this giggly thing, like, just, he's like, I don't know. So I told him no, of course, like I said, and I did just repeat myself there. I'm skipping through the story, sorry. So Julia says to me, why don't we mess with him a little bit? Why don't you say, no, we're not swingers. This is my daughter. Well, we have this thing, where she calls me daddy sometimes, and she thought it was hilarious. And she's like, would you like tell him that? Just tell him, say, hey, we're not swingers. Are you crazy? This is my daughter. So I say, sure, I don't give a damn. Let's mix it up. Let's mess with people. Let's have some fun with it. Let's freak some people out. So next time we start chit-chatting, I said, hey, by the way, not only are we not swingers, I said, this is my daughter. And he's like, what? Oh, I'm sorry. And he's like, I don't know if I believe that. I don't know if I believe that. That's when he grabs another person, a woman, his roommate. Now she's about 40 years old, maybe. Very, very attractive. And she's pretty drunk. So he grabs her and he says, that guy says that's his daughter over there and all this stuff. He says, I don't believe it. Now we're laughing. I mean, nobody's mad. It's like, just, everyone's having fun. So this woman comes over and she's like, oh, you're really his daughter? And Julia says, yeah, he's my daddy. And all of a sudden she goes, oh, my daddy. And then she looks at the dude, and then everybody starts laughing. And then he looks at me and he's like, how old are you? And I said, 55. And he says, and you're with her? And he's like, oh my God, like he was just so like, couldn't believe like I'd stolen, a child. Julia's 38, but she does look quite a bit younger than me, and hey, it's fun being out with her like that. So yeah, he was all excited. He got all excited. Well, the woman gets all excited. Everybody starts getting excited when they hear that I'm not really her father. I'm her daddy, and whatever. It started conversation. This woman starts trying to make out with Julia. It got crazy. But that's just the beginning. I'm just getting started in the story. The police are involved and all kinds of things. So just bear with me here. So we're kind of talking to these people and this girl and the room, and the guy and Julia and me and the bar and laughing, and this woman's like totally like just all over Julia, and Julia's loving it. She's looking at me. She's going, oh my God, this never happens to me. Like, this never happens to me. Like, look how beautiful this girl is. And I was like, I know, she's so hot. It's like, God, this is crazy. Well, someone else in that group, remember I said he had like 5 shots? Another man in that group starts walking straight towards me, and he's about my age, and he walks straight up to me and he goes, and he just looks me straight in the eyes and he goes, and he grabs my arms and he's like, and I'm sitting in the chair and he's just like, now I wasn't afraid for my life or anything. I didn't feel defensive. I felt like, what in the holy fuck? And he was pretty drunk. He was bigger, like a little bit bigger than me, but it wasn't fear. Like, something is wrong with this guy. And I don't know, like, if I try to jerk away from him, is he like, does he think I'm someone else? Why isn't he talking? And all of a sudden, a crowd comes around, and they're trying to like tell him to let go of me, and I'm like, yeah, you really should let go. And all of a sudden, they're like, he's deaf, he's deaf, he's deaf, and I'm like, okay, HOWAREYOU, no, UVW, yeah, XYZ. No, I don't know. That's K. If I start at the beginning, I can do the alphabet. I can sign the alphabet, and I started trying to talk to him a little bit once they pulled him off of me. But he wouldn't calm down. He wouldn't say anything. I mean, I'm sorry. He wouldn't like sign to someone, this guy did this or this guy did that. He wasn't like expressing to anyone why he was grabbing me. I didn't know why he was grabbing me. I guess it's because everybody was looking at me and talking to me in his party. Like, I just don't know. Maybe he thought everybody that was being playful wasn't being playful. Like, I don't know. But he's holding on to me and he's like squeezing tighter. And all of a sudden I'm like, all right. And I just kind of kick out of I'm sitting on a stool. I kind of kick out of my stool and I'm like, Julia, I said, you need to just kind of like hold still there. I said, I don't know if this is a situation I'm getting ready to have to kind of deal with. And so she starts getting a little nervous. I get nervous. They pull him off of me. We go to minding our own business back at the bar going, okay, this night, this girl just was rubbing now she's the woman that was the hot woman, all over Julia. She's taking the guy who's shaking me and she's like walking him through the bar trying to tell him to calm down. And me and Julia are just like looking at each other like, what in the fuck? This is crazy. Then the guy who grabbed me grabs another guy 2 seats down from me. Only this guy wasn't nearly as accommodating as I was, which turns into 5 or 6 guys. You know how this looks like in a bar fight. Just going, and everybody's grabbing everybody. And of course I run over there because this old man's like hands like this. And like, I just kind of grab his wrist and another guy has his wrist. One guy's behind him with his arms like under his, like wrapped like this. And this guy's just flailing. And he's still holding on to but he's all locked up. And then another woman runs up and she's an older lady. And she's like, my son has autism. I think that man is on the spectrum. Everybody let go of him. You don't want to hurt somebody like that. And so I assured her, I said, ma'am, nobody's, because I did hear one guy say, hey, we're getting ready to have to take him to the ground. And I was trying to like be a part of it, make sure nothing, I was actually trying to protect him. And I said, you're right, ma'am, you're right. But he is literally like, he's big enough and strong enough and he's acting really weird. Like he could really hurt someone. We don't know if he's armed. We don't know anything, And she's like, I understand. It was really sweet. She was like, she didn't get crazy. There was no screaming. It was just like, please don't hurt him. Please let go of him. So as we kind of, we're listening to her, we obviously don't want to hurt him. He appears to be mostly just like frozen in this weird state rather than like being super aggressive. It's like even when he grabbed the guy, it's like he just kind of grabs you slow and then just goes, like it's like, I don't think he even knew what he was trying to do. So we pull him off and things calm down and they escort him out of the bar. So Julia and I, of course, I already told you we smoke. She smokes too. We decided to go out and have a smoke break and just take a little break from the bar, trying to figure out what in the world is going on. And we're kind of, it's exciting in a way, We get outside. And there's another, oh my God, she was so pretty, like 30, Russian woman, because she was speaking in Russian really loud and English, like back and forth. And she walks straight over to our table. She starts crying. She starts saying her friends had left her. She's barefooted, can't find her wallet, can't find anything. And Next thing you know, she's sitting at our outside table, and she decides to also fall in love with Julia. Julia's got these rhinestones and sparkles and everything, and like everywhere we go, people just kind of mob her a little bit, like, wow, you know, they just never seen someone on a Sunday night, you know, that's just the way she dresses, and it's people do love it. So this might sound a little weird, but then some physical stuff started happening, making out and stuff, and you know, Julia's like, that's never happened either. Like and then I start making out with her, like, I'm like, this is insane. This is crazy. This is crazy. She's so hot. Like, she's, you know, we were having fun. We were laughing. She'd get up and sit down and then come back over and tell Julia how much she loves her and all this stuff. And like, then Julia's like, but how are you going to get home? And then, because she was barefooted, she kept trying to go back into the bar, and they kept throwing her out of the bar, wouldn't let her in the bar barefooted. So Julia takes her shoes off, and Julia takes her shoes off, and we give the shoes to the woman that we're sitting with at, you know, or that we're outside at the picnic table. We give her Julia's shoes. She goes back into the bar to find her people. She comes back out, and this time they're like escorting her again, and we're like, what's going on? She comes back over the table. She's got no shoes. She's got no wallet. She's got no car. She's got no keys. She has nothing. And she just keeps wandering around out there crying, saying, or not always, well, she wasn't crying at this point, but, you know, like, someone left me. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. So apparently she went in one too many times, and we're sitting there talking to her, and all of a sudden here comes 12 police cars and, well, probably 4 police cars, what looked like 10 policemen showed up, and even brought an ambulance, and they hopefully they found out who she was and took her home and sobered her up and took her home. It was a wild night. And then after of course, I walk up to the police. Is everything okay? Me and my girlfriend are worried about her. No, he said, sir, I need you to back up. Like, we have this handled. I'm like, he's like, do you know her? And I'm like, I don't know her. We just met her, but like, we were hanging out with her for like the last 20 minutes, you know, and, you know, but I can't tell you where she lives. I can't tell you, like, I wish I could help. I just want to make sure, is there anything that we can do? And he's like, no, just I need you to back up, sir. All right. So that was my Sunday night. Now, how do you follow that, you know? How do you follow that? I mean, it's like, that's what I'm saying. My life just seems to have these wild, crazy interactions and people and energy. Like, it's people are crazy loves crazy. I am crazy. I started the whole thing, you know, just showing off how crazy I was 2 seconds after walking into the bar, tonguing that dude's shot, and then, so that was my Sunday night. And Julie and I didn't even stay that late. We left and went home, and you know, that was the end of the night. But it didn't really help. It didn't really help our relationship. It was more of like that. I think it was meaning while we were there, we talked about a lot of stuff, but it still kind of came back up later. You know, later that night, it came back up again on Monday. It came back up again on Tuesday, and I think it's Wednesday now. And just so much. All right, well, wish me luck on my 30-day sobriety challenge. No tobacco, no alcohol, no THC. And I don't do anything else anyway, so. I mean, like, there's not pills, or I don't even have any. I have, okay, I do have one prescription, but it's not that kind of pill. That's a whole nother story. but I don't take any medications. I do have a one single prescription I can think of in the last couple of years, but it's pretty much still full. That's another story for another day. Until then,